Boom.
Boom.
We are live.
Ah.
Welcome in, everybody. The Gentleman's Code, episode 19. We're going on episode 20 here soon. Crazy to think how fast this year has gone by with everything that we've been doing inside the Taylor's Code and everything we've been doing together, Priamo. I mean, it's been a pretty incredible year to say the least with crypto and everything. But today we got something special for the gentleman. Another implementation of the Gentleman's Code, wardrobe, luxury, however you want to interpret it. But luxury watches. What does a luxury watch mean to you, Priyama? And like, what is it? How does it take your style to the next level or collection? How do you look at timepieces?
I'm very excited for today's topic because I got into watches a couple of years ago before I could even really afford, let's call it the very expensive ones. But I understood the impact that it would have on my image and the way that you look and the way that you dress, because guys who make money, guys who are successful, they can spot a timepiece from across the room, right? And they know whenever you have a nice timepiece on, and they can tell what your kind of character is, what your income level is, what you're trying to project out to the real world based off of what you're wearing. So a timepiece is similar to a car in the sense that it is a status symbol, and that's really all it is. It's just a fucking, I mean, trust me, I'm not using a watch to tell the fucking time if I'm buying a Rolex, but it is a status symbol. It is a way to show to other people that, okay, this guy's hustling. Okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. Okay, this guy's got a little bit of class, a little bit of style. A nice timepiece, a nice watch whenever you're just out and about, whether you're driving, whether you're going to a business meeting, a party, something where you're meeting new people. It makes a huge difference in the way that people perceive you. Really, it does. So, but yeah, so a timepiece is just a way to show success. Like every guy who's making a shit ton of money, he's gonna have a fucking Rolex. He's gonna have an AP. He's
Yeah,
gonna have
for
something
sure.
nice. So, but yeah, and right now, well, I'll let you go ahead and start with what you were gonna say, but I got a couple of things on the watch list
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, sorry, one second. I think the audio for some reason your audio side is not coming through, so I was just trying to get that. It was just working, and then as soon as I went live, it's not working. So let me just make sure I got your
Do you think
audio working.
do you think the Matrix is coming at us again? We had
It's been a while.
yeah.
Been a
Yeah.
while.
Isn't that interesting? As soon as the election passes, everything settles down, Trumpino wins, we're gonna get the Trump pump. We don't get any more Matrix attacks. So I'm saying they really were coming after us. I know YouTube and
I didn't even think about it in terms of that. It's been a while. Kamala's taken the back seat. Joe's almost done.
and all of a sudden no Matrix attacks. Isn't
No
that weird,
Matrix.
huh?
Yeah, hang on. I don't know why. I just want to make sure we got your audio. I see we got a fella in the chat. See if we make sure we got some audio coming from Priamo's side. Let me
Naeem, do we got audio on my end? I
I
got
could see I could see my mic going, but it's not capturing this. Let me just delete it out and then redo it.
you're good. The people will get the little behind the scenes on my end. I could see us do a little Mr. Producer. But while you're doing that, you just let me know whenever you're ready again. But I'll give him a
Yeah,
little.
here, you know what I could do? I'll pop up the little graphics we got for today
Boom.
and
Give him a little bit of a introduction in today's topic, the timepieces.
let me know if you could see it.
Yep, we can see it. Perfect. Let me make sure on mine on the stream they can see this juice. There we go. Bada boom. All right, gentlemen. So, anyways, like we are talking about with timepieces. At some point, you gotta start getting into timepieces. You gotta start wearing something whenever you go out, going to dinner, taking a girl out. Everybody can recognize a nice watch, okay? Regardless if they know what brand it is, because I can tell you right now, the females don't know what the hell they're looking at whenever they see a watch. But if it's a nice watch, they'll be able to tell. So, top brands for this year coming up, okay? We got Rolex, Classic, Patek Philippe, you got Audemars Piguet, you got Vacheron Constantin, all right? Correct me if I pronounce that wrong. And then Richard Mille. So, obviously, some of those on there, on that list, are going to be a lot more expensive than just a Rolex. Now, Rolex is probably your entry level,
Hmm.
lowest tier luxury watch that people can recognize, people know about. And then we got a couple of the most expensive watches on there as well. So from 2024, you got the Patek Philippe Grandmaster Chime, 30 plus milli. Jacob and Co. Billionaire. I could have guessed that was going to be on there, 18 mil. Jacob and Co. are just outrageous. Those are the most
Yeah.
outrageous watches. That's it. If you guys ever seen the Bugatti, watches that they have that
Is
simulates.
that a Jacob and Co?
It's a Jacob and Co. So they do the Bugatti watches, the one famous one Tate has, the fucking
Yeah.
whatever color that is, and then Richard Mille RM 5602 Sapphire 2 plus mil. So obviously the watches can get completely fucking outrageous, but the point is that know the different brands, understand what you like, what you're looking for, and then as you move up through the ranks, start to collect these different types of brands because most of the people are going to start with Rolex. Rolex is going to be a entry level, get a little date just, little $4 or $5, $6,000 used date just, get yourself something in the collection, and then after that, I would be moving up to the Pateks or APs. APs would probably be the next level. So, all right, you want to touch anything on that?
Yeah, so just like the way I structured this top brands for 2025, and this was in terms of just like how much money the brand makes, right? So Rolex, Patek Philippe, these are just the big brands, the ones that are making the most money. And I put these pictures over here to the left just to give you guys a little idea of kind of how these watches manufacture. They all kind of keep the same kind of style for the most part. I wouldn't say it's true over every single watch they make, but they all majority have like their own style. As you can see, the Rolex, is that circular face that they're accustomed to, like the Daytonas, and this one here is an oyster. So they have that more round face, more of that the I would say it's more of like a boater style.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Patek Philippe's, they have this style down here that's more of a traditional clock, kind of squared off, round face, but also it has that luxury feel to it. And I like how the Patek Philippe's they have the notch uh, into the sides there, so everything is kind of enclosed. And I like the enclosed as opposed to like if you see on the oysters here how far they stick out
Right.
like that. I like how it's kind of enclosed there. And then the Audemars Piguet, this is just their classic style. I think this one was called the green oak, if I believe, when I was dropping the pictures in here. But this one is just a classic stainless steel with the green face,
Mm-hmm.
kind of actually similar to what I put on this morning. It's kind of just a stainless steel with a green face. No Audemars Piguet here, but
Right.
it's just a classic style.
So that's the thing. So Pateks are obviously fantastic. For me, out of those three, it would probably be my least favorite. The Rolexes. So here's the thing with me. I have Italian wrists, so I got the small wrist, so I need a smaller watch. I like the date justs for Rolex, nice and easy, classy, simple. You can go with the presidentials too. Presidentials are cool. I don't like the big yacht masters, the big fucking chronographs, the ones that are just super bulky, got a bunch of things sticking out on the sides. Those are too much for me. So I like something simple, classy, date just. You
Mhm.
get a little Jubilee band on there. You get the two tone. You get the gold on the bezel. Those are good. So I would start for the gentleman. If you're looking for a watch that you can start with, that's not going to completely kill you. Rolex date just something used, a couple of grand, you can find one for. And make sure you got box and papers with it. I learned the fucking hard way, Bobby. First first Rolex I bought was a date just. Okay, two tone Jubilee band banger. Loved it. Wore it all the time. Fucking got smoked. I didn't get the box and papers. So when I went to go resell it, I got smoked on the value of it. So I got cooked. Which you learn, don't make that mistake. Whenever you buy a watch, most certainly get it with box and papers. You're better off doing that so that whenever you do want to resell it, the whole idea is to be able to preserve your value, preserve your money by having the timepiece as opposed to blowing it on a bunch of dumb shit. You want box and papers so you can get some good resale value whenever you do that.
Yeah, that's definitely the number one thing that I've seen from a resale perspective, making sure you have the original paperwork, the original box, because then how I look at it, it's a nice timepiece that's going to last you forever. If you keep it, it's just like we talked about with the cars last week. Remember we talked about keeping it clean, keeping it maintenance, right? It's the same thing with these. It's a luxury piece and things might go wrong, so you have to take it to the Rolex store, get it fixed. But if you take care of it, clean it, keep the original box, paperwork, you might be able to resell it. Hopefully, you'll be able to resell something like this for more money in 10, 15, 20 years. And that comes into the investment aspect of it, which I could go to the next screen here.
Mm-hmm. Bangers.
So just the investment aspect of a very expensive luxury watch, right? So appreciation of rare models. So I attached some rare models over here. So this one is this Rolex Daytona here is actually I think the same style as that one on the first slide,
Hmm.
but this one is from 1969, and then this new one here, and this one I put here is kind of the updated model of what is on this second screen. So this is like a early 2000s model,
Hmm.
still very nice, and then this is kind of the OG. So you can see they haven't changed much, and like I said, that it's that the circular motion traditional clock with kind of a diver's has the pressures and everything else like that that people would look at. I don't look at that stuff, but that is something
That's what I was gonna
that's
say. I think it's hilarious
made.
that these watches have all these use cases, and I think to myself, who the fuck is diving and
Yeah.
trying to measure the depth of the ocean with their fucking Rolex Daytona? Nobody's doing it. Bro, I had the date just. I never once in my life used it to tell the time. Not once. It's like, oh, you got your watch right here. Oh, what time is it? Okay, hold on. Pull out your phone. Boom. Okay, like it has nothing to do with the use case. It's
No.
absolutely just a status symbol. But yeah, the appreciate the maintaining the value is the whole idea with the watches because you can spend all your money on. I've done it with the designer clothes. I've done it with I mean, traveling is good, but designer clothes, just buying shit online, buying things that aren't gonna really do anything for you down the road, nor maintain any kind of value. It's cool to spend money, but you don't want to spend all your money. You don't want to be done with it. At least if you're buying watches, you're maintaining the value. You're storing it somewhere so that you don't blow it on something stupid and you get the use of it, which is wearing it out and about, taking girls on dates, having it a part of your fashion, your look that you have. So you get value out of it while still maintaining what you put into the watch, which is huge, right?
Yep.
It's not something that you're using and then it's gone. No, you're using it while still keeping the money that you had spent on it in the watch.
That is the importance of diversifying in this too, because you never know what can happen with a watch, and that's why I think personally for me, collecting more the merrier. I just want to have a bunch of different ones that when you look back on it, it is that timepiece. It's like it's a part of history because realistically, you get a good watch and it never stops ticking, right? It just keeps going and going and going, and that is the best part I think, for looking back in time almost at these watches like you're like okay well it's still ticking from when I bought this Rolex Daytona from 1969 it's still ticking and I think that's so cool. I think that that's like one of my favorite parts about a watch is that it's that timepiece. It's like just like the movie Interstellar, when he goes to the foreign planet and his time is like 2 hours, but then his daughter's time is like 45 days or 45 years, sorry. So that's just like something that I think about what watches is that it has that time value to it. Like you actually know how much time has gone by. But in terms of the watches on the screen here, I added this Tag Heuer to the top right. And I want to get your take on Tag Heuer because I know they're meant to be kind of more of a sportier watch. So something you do maybe while you're racing F1. I see a lot of those guys are like F1 or Tag Heuer sponsored, or they're sports like tennis players or stuff like that. So what's your take on Tag Heuer? I know they got a lot of different models from like kind of like the newer tech ones, like what's digital aspects to it. But this one here. Sorry, I think I'm covering up with
No, I
my
can see
screen
it.
here. But okay,
Yeah.
the connected Calibre E4. So this is like, what's your take on Tag Heuer? Because I hear a lot of great things, but I never actually purchased one.
Me personally, I would never buy it either. So my take would be, unless you're fucking Lewis Hamilton and you're ripping on the F1 track, I don't think you need that. Because here's the thing: the whole idea of a businessman of a gentleman of buying a watch is if that's not your thing. Oh, I collect watches and I have 1,000 pairs of watches. If that's not your goal here, your goal is just to have some type of class, to have some type of statement piece, something that shows you that you have some status. I'm not buying a Tag Heuer because number one, most people aren't going to be able to recognize it unless they're a watch connoisseur, right? And if the whole reason of me buying the watch is to have a statement piece, then I'm not going to buy a piece that people aren't going to recognize, or it's not going to provide me some sense of or some type of what's it called? Yeah, status. So I wouldn't buy it personally. And then of course, because I'm not using it for the use cases. I mean, that's the thing with the watches. You, you learn this in sales. People don't buy products for what it's. They don't buy products for what its use cases are. They buy products on what the outcome or what the benefits are, right? People don't buy for features, they buy for benefits. So when I buy a Rolex, I'm not buying it for the feature of being able to tell the time. That's not what sells you on it. I buy a Rolex because of the benefits of it. Why? Because if I got a Rolex, gentleman sees my watch, they respect me a little bit more. He knows I'm making money. Okay, now what's the benefit of that? Well, now I might do a business deal with this guy. I might make a new connection. I might be able to network better. Starts a conversation. It's the symbol of it. It's the benefit of having the watch. So
100%.
yeah, I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't.
Yeah, and I think they're relatively pretty expensive too. I think they're a couple, they're entry level starting probably like 2 to 3 thousand when you could get an entry level Rolex for the same price. I agree.
Yeah.
One that we talked about last week, I believe, was the Richard Mille. So this one here is one of the most expensive ones. This is the RM35-02 black carbon. I believe gets the black carbon from the name around the face there. Looks like it's made out of carbon, and it's just I don't know. I don't love these watches. It's more of a fad thing, I think. I think most people just like you said, they're getting it for the name, they're getting it for what it is. But from a fashion perspective, I don't love it. But I mean this one here, I think when I was looking it up was about $1.2 million dollars. Just this one here. I think it's got the pretty cool mechanics on the inside that you could see. Couldn't tell you what time it is. I don't know what time is on that watch, but
I didn't even know there was hands on it. Yeah, exactly. It's just gears. I mean, but that, again, that's what we were just talking about, features versus benefits. They're making watches you can't even tell the time on it because they know you're not looking. They're not looking at the time on that.
they know you're not looking at the time on
No,
that.
yeah, you're wearing that. You got your butler telling you the time. You don't need the watch to tell you the time. So I'm the same way. I don't think they're attractive in any way at all. The Richard Mille. Well, first of all, it's the newest one out of all the major luxury watch brands. So it is the newest. And like you said, it's more of a fad, new money. Younger guys are buying that shit and just trying to flex with their, $1.2 million Richard Mille. But I don't look at that and say, oh, that's a beautiful watch. It's cool, but I certainly wouldn't want it for 1.2 mil, right? Certainly not. For me, AP is definitely AP is the one I like the best outside of Rolex. So, and that's actually
Yeah.
what I'm going to buy next year is going to be a Royal Oak because so that's what I'm looking at right now. And you can get a Royal Oak 40, 50, $60,000 and they're still classy. They still look nice, but you can definitely differentiate them from a Rolex or a Tag Heuer or a Richard Mille. You can tell, an AP when you see an AP. But and it still looks good. That's what I'm saying. It still looks good. This doesn't. I don't look at that and say, "Oh, that's fire." It's just like, "Oh,
That
okay."
yeah, that just reminds me if I was like 15 and I had $20 million to buy watches, those are the watches I would buy if I was 15 in high school and I had,
Yeah,
just unlimited money. That's the watch I would buy.
for
But
sure.
now as a older, sophisticated gentleman, definitely you're 100% right. I like AP just based on like let me go back here like you said, I think this one is a royal oak here, this green one.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it is. That's like that green color. But just from I said from a classic stainless steel perspective, it's just clean, it's elegant, and like you said, people that know watches are gonna know what it is and know how valuable it is, and then it's a talking point from there on. But then yeah, I would say probably Rolex is a classic just because they have so many different models at this point. You could get a Rolex that looks any type of way. It could look, they make so many now. So the variety with Rolex and the brand there is great, and then the the classiness of an AP, it's
yeah,
just the chef's kiss.
yeah. APs are fucking class. And by the way, guys, gentlemen, if you see me and Bobby, not if, when, okay, when you see me and Bobby get on one of these live streams next year, and you see the Royal Oak on my wrist, we sold. Okay, that That is your top signal, because if you're not inside the Taylor's code and a part of the private cryptos plays, where that's our group chat where we have all the investors inside of, that's where we tell everybody live when we're buying and selling. But if you're not inside that group, you won't know. But when you see the AP on the wrist, we sold. Okay, that's your top signal, just so you know. Okay, so fantastic. So there's a couple other things with the watches, and if you want to pull up Chrono, do you ever use Chrono 24?
No, I've never been on Chrono 24.
Yeah. So if you pull up the website real quick.
Yeah, let me pull it up.
So Chrono 24 is a great website to use for watches.
Keeps moving my zoom around. I'm not trying to. ChatGPT stuck up. All right. Chrono.
Yeah, Chrono 24.
Here
They
we
have
go.
an app as well.
I believe I stopped sharing, but
No, I can still see it.
okay. I'm really having a Mr. Producer today. I'm not loving this.
Yeah, yeah.
Here
Fucking
we
tell
go.
me about it. That's what I'm saying. I gotta hire Naeem's brother to start doing Mr. Producer. All right, you got it. All right.
All right, here we go. Find your dream watch on the leading marketplace for luxury watches. Here we go.
So for the gentleman, this is a website I would recommend using. That's what I use for watches, and it's good because of course they got all the different types of brands, but you can use a lot of different filters just to narrow down exactly what it is that you're looking for. And they verify the watches, so you can make sure that they're verified by licensed dealers. Chrono will certify them. Chrono will also back them, as in insure them, just to make sure that they are legitimate. And for whatever reason something happens, they'll make sure that they get that taken care of. So this is probably my favorite watch site to use. So if you look up, because I was looking at APs, if you go to Audemars, there you go, perfect. I'll show you the ones I was looking at just so the gentlemen have an idea. So now that I'm going for an AP, yep, Royal Oak. And then you see how towards the bottom there's all those different filters that you can use.
Hmm.
So I would put, so we want Royal Oak, perfect. And then you can make sure that they're certified by Chrono. Okay, and we can start getting some fucking bangers. And then watch with original box and papers. Perfect.
Banger.
Banger.
Still 400 tier results with some filters on it.
Exactly. So this would be what I'm looking at, is at least watch, or at least box and papers, certified, everything's good, trusted dealers. And then you can go through here and you can continue to filter down further, because I was using date range 2020 to 2024 because I definitely want it within the last 4 years to watch. I want something that's newer. It's
Hmm.
okay if it's used, but definitely newer because I want to be clean, look nice. But I mean, some of these APs are beautiful. I mean, obviously some are 120, 130,000. I'm not looking at those. I'm looking at just a normal Royal Oak, 30, 40, 50 grand. But yeah, they got some bangers on here. Let's see. Let me know whatever.
Sounds, this one's clean. I think this is the one we had that up on the slideshow pictured. The Royal Oak 50th anniversary.
That one doesn't have the dials on it. It's a blank face or just a clear face, but that's what I would prefer.
Hmm.
I don't want the dials. I don't want all this extra fucking technology on there. There you go. There's one with the dials.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends. It hits on some models. Sometimes, sometimes I think it looks good. Sometimes I don't think it. I think this face is a little too small. For them. It looks just a little too
Crowded.
congested for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I would definitely get just a blank face on it. And for the millimeters, so the watches will come anywhere from 36, 37 to 40, 41, 42, up to 44 millimeters on the face.
Hmm.
And for me, my date just, the first Rolex I bought was a 36 millimeter. And people thought that would be tiny. But again, for me, it looks perfect because my wrists are small. So I would keep that in mind too, gentlemen. You got to make sure that the watch that you're getting that it doesn't look huge on your wrist, because they will. If you buy a 44 millimeter watch and you have tiny wrists like me, it's gonna look fucking stupid on your wrist, because it's gonna be literally a fucking massive, right? Now, if you're a big dude and you're a little bit fucking, a little bit fluffy, yeah, you're gonna want a 44 millimeter. You're not gonna be wanting to throw on a 36 millimeter date just, right? So you got
A
to keep that in mind as
fluffer.
well. Yeah, the fluffy boys, they got to get themselves some big faces. So when I was looking at the APs, I'm looking between the 36 to 38 ish millimeter range, because I definitely don't want something that's huge on my wrist. But yeah, some of these APs are beautiful, and these are recognizable. People see this on your wrist. They know, oh shit, that's a fucking AP. And if they don't know what it is, then they're not somebody you want to be talking to anyways, because clearly they're not doing too well.
Yeah, and for the guys that are going to be like, I'm not paying 20, 30, $40,000 for a watch. I'd say it's an investment. It's an investment into yourself. It's an investment into your wardrobe. It's an investment into your network, and it's still like it's not a depreciating asset. It's not going to be worth $100 next month. It's something that holds its value for generations. So it's more than just spending money on a watch.
Right. And gentlemen, let's be honest, okay? Men fucking peacock. This is what they do. They show off. They buy things to show off their success, to show that they're a fucking hustler, that they're a dog, that they're willing to do whatever they want to do to get the things that they want to get. That's the reality of life. So when other men see you with these watches that are also having success, it's just an instant badge of honor. It's an instant respect attractor, right? I'm not saying go completely broke trying to buy things that you can't afford, but if you're making real money and you're invested into the crypto investments that we have, all the things that we've been doing, you're making a bunch of money, and you have that you can set aside and you can buy an AP with, then you should do that if it's not going to break the bank, because it is a statement. You want to show to other people that, okay, this guy's obviously doing something, right? Because here's the thing. You go to these car meetups where these guys do these car rallies, and they got the McLaren rallies and they got the Ferrari rallies. And then you get these networking events, these places where a bunch of rich people go and hang out with each other. They're going to be wearing APs. They're going to be wearing Rolexes. They're going to everybody does the same shit that makes money. So
Yep.
by you also having these things, guess what? You're going to instantly get kudos. You're going to get credit. You're going to get respect from these other gentlemen, and therefore connect, network. Next thing you know, you do a deal with a guy that makes you $500,000. Now that $50,000 AP was worth it. Not only did it hold the value from the watch, but then you made more money off of the connection that you made. So you got to look at things that way. You got to look at it, okay, what's the investment into myself? How can I use this to continue to network and make more money? That's always the way you got to look at these things.
100%. That's a great way to look at it. And a lot of people look at it in terms of spending money, like you said. And I think it is important to look at it of how it's going to bring you more money. That's how you should look at how, and whatever money you spend in life, look about how it's going to bring you back more money. That's all money is a tool. So for you to put the time and effort in to picking out a luxury watch that you love and you're able to take care of for 10, 20, 30 years, it's only going to bring you money back in return, like we said. And someone else is gonna see it, a watch connoisseur. He's gonna invite you to this place where he's got watches, and then he's gonna give you one at a discount. So now you got two watches for the price of one. You never know what could happen. Anything could happen. And the luxury aspect of it is maybe you don't want to go out in certain neighborhoods, and just be careful where you go out. You don't want to go in downtown Baltimore with your AP on. So just be smart about that stuff. But for the most part, people are gonna understand what it is, and it's going to bring more value back to your life.
And you guys got to be slick too. You have to understand this is all marketing. This is all sales. So you got to understand how to leverage your things to make you money. So when we were talking about cars last week, I was saying you hear classic all the time. Cars are depreciating asset. It's a liability. Why would you buy a nice car? Thinking that they're smart, thinking that they know something that other people don't know. Well, first of all, then who the fuck is buying all these nice cars? Poor people? You don't think people? I see McLarens, Ferraris, Bugattis. People are buying all these expensive cars. Why are they doing that? If it's a liability, it's a depreciating asset, it's a bad investment. They're not thinking of it the right way. No, you have to know how to leverage that to make you more money, right? For example, my first business was sales agency, insurance agency. Guess what the most fucking fantastic way to recruit? I would take my car. We would go to a nice restaurant, cigar bar, somewhere really nice where they have valet. 25-year-old pulls up, 24 whenever I first bought it, I believe. Pull up, Boom, valet, young guy gets out, grabs my keys, about to pop in the car. Yo, man, nice car. This thing's amazing. What do you do? Because I'm young. I'm driving a $100,000 Benz. Oh, by the way, I have a sales organization. Da 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 da. You're a hustler. You're working commission right now, basically working off of tips, hustling. What are you trying to do with your life? You trying to do this for the next couple of years? Are you trying to get out of this? No, man, I want to get out of this. I did this to be able to make connections with people who have money, people who have nice cars, and just meet people and see what they have going on. Oh, wait, give me your phone number. I'll shoot you a call. Maybe we can get you into my sales organization. Next thing you know, he's in the sales team. Da 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 da. Makes me $10,000. Like that's how you make money off of the shit that you have.
It's the art of the deal. It's a great book if you're listening and haven't read it, The Art of the Deal. Taking things that what you bought it at and valuing it higher. So if you show people that the value to you is much higher, they're going to be willing to buy it at a higher price than what you paid for it. So the same goes for cars. I know someone that lives in my building. I told Priyama this, he buys McLarens, he buys all these different cars, BMWs, Mercedes, Lambos, and he buys them, he'll drive them for 3 months, and then he'll sell them for a little bit more than he bought them for. So he was able to make money while buying supercars and just refreshing them every 3 to 6 months. So there's that, and there's also watches. People pay a heavy premium for these watches. So if you get a watch, you're not in love with it, but you know somebody who's going to buy it for maybe $1,000 more. If you bought it for 20,000, you sell it to him for 21,000. You just made $1,000 buying an AP that you had for 3 months. You wore it out a couple times, and it looked good. Take your pictures in it. There's ways to make money in this too. The art of the deal, showing the value to other people of what it's worth, and then you could pawn it off on them. You take it.
Yeah.
Cheers now.
100%. That's what people got to think of that way. They don't think about how to make money. They just think about spending money. Buyers stay broke, right? We live in a consumer society, and there's two types of people in a consumer society. The people who create the products that are consumed, and then there are the consumers, right? So your goal is somebody who's trying to become successful and become rich, and you want to have this fantastic lifestyle that you talk about. You need to learn how to become more of a creator, more of a producer, as opposed to a consumer, right? So even when you do consume through cars, watches, luxury items, etc., you got to find a way to be able to then produce a profit off of that as much as humanly possible, just so that even if you don't profit off of the purchase, you break even or you get close to breaking even. So you didn't even spend the money and you still got the use out of it that you wanted. So, because it's the same thing with a watch. You can make a shit ton of money off of a car, having a nice car. You can make a shit ton of money off of a watch because it's the same exact thing. It's a conversation piece. It's a conversation starter. The amount of conversations you're going to be able to start with gentlemen that you could do business with just based off the fact that you're wearing a royal oak is going to be massive. Because anybody who knows what that is either wants to be able to get it one day, so then you could hire that person and mentor them, or whoever knows what that is already has one, so they have value and sense of connections and business that you could do with that person.
Yeah, so I wrote down a quote last night when I was just doing some research on creating that PowerPoint, and one that popped up for me was a luxury watch is more than a timepiece, it's your legacy. In terms of what I was talking about before, of the time is always ticking on it. It's a piece of history with you. That watch came through time with you, and it's in the future now. And so I think that they just have so much more value than people tend to lead on. And, especially for cheap watches. A cheap watch is a cheap watch. Anyone could start a factory up and just print them out. But these legacy luxury pieces are going to be around for decades and decades. Like we saw the 1969 Daytona. So these aren't going anywhere soon. So they're not bad investment pieces. I think there's a lot to like about them. So if you could afford them, I think there's a lot of nice watches out there, entry level from 500 to $3,000. Anything above $3,000, I think you're going to start getting into that next tier. So that Rolex tiers, I would say, but anything above three, that's going to be 3 to 50K, and then anything above that, you're in ultra luxury Audemars APs and Patek Philippe's above that. You might, I mean, from what we saw on that website, the APs are actually a little cheaper than I thought. You could get them probably in the 20 to 30 range.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they'd be more in the 50. But yeah, there's levels to it. Of course, I have another chart when I post the video on X and on socials. I'll attach the hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to put it in the slideshow, but yeah, it's good to see where you could start off and then you could work your way up. Trade, like we said, trade in. You get one for 5 grand. You trade it back in for 6,500. Then you could buy one for 6,500. Trade that in for 8 grand. So there's ways to level up as opposed to just I'm spending all my money on watches. Okay, well, if you're gonna think about it like that, you're not gonna have any nice watches.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. You got to have the fucking balls to take a chance and say, all right, let me spend a few dollars and put myself in a situation where I'm gonna have to work a little bit harder just to make sure that I can afford this. Right? It's almost like dragging yourself up into success if you're stagnant by forcing yourself to do things that you wouldn't typically spend money on. So, and at
Yep.
least with the watch, it's not like you just burnt the cash. At least when you buy the watch, you still have the money. It's right there. It's on your wrist, and you can sell it and get that money back, right? But it forces you to put yourself in a situation where you got to level up, and just the way that you're gonna feel from it, the confidence that you're gonna have, the mindset of, oh, I'm a fucking winner. I'm wearing my Rolex. I got my nice fit on. I'm boom, 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 boom. It's just all that's momentum, and you create that momentum for yourself. You feel better about yourself, and then bang, 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 you start making more money, right? So you can never look at it as I could never afford that. And here's another piece of advice for the gentleman. You got to stop thinking about, you got to start to understand what a lot of money is. So everything's relative, obviously. So if somebody's making, $2,000 a month, of course, a $50,000 watch is going to sound like a shit ton of money. But if you ever expect to make more money than what you're making right now, and you want to level up your income and level up your lifestyle, you got to start thinking in a way that says, oh, wait, $50,000 is actually not a lot of money at all. And here's why. Until you start to think that way, you're never going to expect to make more money, right? If you think $50,000 is a lot, then you're going to think that making $50,000 a year is like, it's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. You can't look at it that way. You got to look at 50,000 like it's fucking nothing. I need to make $50,000 a month so then I can afford a $50,000 watch like it's nothing, if that makes sense. So you got to think in a way where money is not as valuable as you think it is. Therefore, you're going to require more of it from your time and your energy and your business. That's how you level up in income. You got to look at its money as $1 million. It's not a lot of money. I should be making $1 million a fucking year minimum. And that's the way that I think. It's like, million for sure. How the fuck else am I gonna get rich, right? So
How else are you gonna buy a $60,000 watch when you're making $60,000 a year?
exactly. So
Can't.
then, of course, people look at it as, oh, I can't afford that. I'll never be able to buy that. That's insane. Well, yeah, because you think 60 grand is a lot of money. Newsflash, gentlemen, $60,000 is not a lot of money. If you had $60,000 in your bank account right now, I promise you're still gonna work for the rest of your life. Like 60 grand is not a lot of money. So that's why you have to be in a panic mode to make as much money as possible, stack up as much money as possible, and understand that as soon as you hit $1 million, you realize, oh wait, $1 million is not that much money. Then you got to go get 10. It's like 60 grand is 50 grand for a watch is not a lot of money, gentlemen. Just here to be honest with you.
No, you're right. At the like you said, you like who's buying all the supercars, who's buying all the watches. It's like there's people out there that make lots of money and they put themselves in position, sometimes inherited, but a lot of times businessmen have worked really hard on their status and on their business to be able to invest back into themselves and buying nice cars, nice watches, nice clothes. That's one thing we haven't touched on. We hit the cars, we hit the watches, and we have hit the clothes, but maybe not as in depth as we would like. But there's lots of ways to reinvest into yourself, and I guarantee you, the richest people spend the most money for sure. You might think that, that they don't. A lot of people say, oh, they're great at saving their money. No, they're great at spending their money. That's why they have money come back to them. Because however much money you're willing to put into the universe, into yourself, into your business, into whatever you're doing, it's gonna find a way to come back to you if you do it smartly. So there's definitely dumb ways to do it, spending on the lottery, gambling, right? But if you're investing into yourself, there's really not much you could do wrong. It's going to find its way back in some aspect, whether that's education, whether that's cars, whether that's clothing, making yourself look good, right? It's going to find a way to come back to you in some realm of wealth, I would say, right? If you
Right.
if you dress nice and you look good and you smell good and you have a nice watch, you might attract better females that you like more, right? And that's going to reward you better, right? You have, the girl of your dreams per se, or a nice car. But business is very, like Pramo said, it's very subjective in how you spend this money and how it comes back to you. It's not all the same for everyone, but there's different ways to go about it. And I think that's what's great about watches and that's what's great about cars and all this stuff that we've been talking about.
That was such a good point you made about rich people spend more money because that's so true. That's 100% true. They have more money because they spend more money. And as they make more money, they'll spend more money because any dollar spent that will bring you two back is worthwhile spending,
Mm-hmm.
right? $10 million is not too expensive or too much money to spend if that 10 million will bring you back 20. I'll do that deal every fucking time. So it's not
Yep.
about the money spent, it's about the money that you're bringing back in. Wealthy people, they understand how to make their money make them more money. People who are not wealthy, people who have poor mindsets, people who think money is a lot of money, I can't afford this, I can't do that, I got to save, 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 save. Those people never get rich because they don't know how to make their money make them money, right? So that's such a good point. Yes, yes, you're going to spend money. The more money that I've made, the more money I've spent every single month. That's literally how it works. But guess what? My income's also gone up. I've also built different businesses. Now we're doing the YouTube and we're doing the Taylor's Code organization where we're building this network and this university for other gentlemen to be able to make money online, right? And scale their incomes. But guess what? The more money we've made, the more money we've spent. Hiring more people, building out new things, building out, paying for equipment to be able to live stream. Like, you spend more money, but then you make more money. So it's worth it. I'll spend that dollar every time.
Yeah, because one day you hit the threshold of all the money you put into YouTube. YouTube's gonna pay you back for that, right? And that's the whole point of everything. You're investing early in something that hasn't given you a return yet. Think of crypto 20 years ago, right? Those guys were buying into Fugazi coins that didn't mean nothing. Now all those guys are multimillionaires, right? Because they saw the vision, they were investing in it early, and they believed in something. And if you do the same with yourself, it's the power, the sky's the limit, right? The amount of power you have is unscalable because you could just invest in yourself and you have all this knowledge in your head from business to cars and luxury. And then when it's time to pop out and the money's there, everyone's going to know the time and effort you put in. And that's, what we're doing here with the Taylor's Code and YouTube. We're just building, grinding, getting the word out there that for young people that want to join the community and the network, that want to make more of themselves, make more money, be a better professional. It's gonna all come full circle one day and be like, oh wow, those late nights, those early streams. Look where we're at now.
Yeah, it's going to be worth it. You're going to see it. The best example that we have right now, I always say, is Ollie, because Ollie sends one cold DM on Instagram back in December of 23 to me. End up working together. Boom. Year later, he's inside the Taylor's Code since the beginning. He's been working with us. He's helping on the YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. He's been investing his money this entire time, all the money he's been making from the Taylor's Code, puts it into crypto, putting it into these assets. Bro, by the time, I mean, his bag's already pumped already, but by the time we get to Q1, Q2 next year, he's going to wake up one day with all this money that he could never have imagined having at the beginning of 2024, right?
As a junior in high school.
Yeah, as fucking 17, however old he is. And it's all be because of what? Well, because he was showing up every single day. He kept working. He kept hustling. Even though that money didn't come overnight, all of a sudden he's going to wake up with all this money. Now, because he has this bag stacked up, liquidates it, boom, now we can start to play the game. Now how do we flip this again? How do we go into the next thing? How do we make more money from YouTube? How do we build this out now? It's just the game. It's just a momentum game. And you're going to start out small at first. You're not going to make a ton of money at first, but if you can continue to flip that money into something new and continue to stack it up, not spend it all, not all of it, spend it to make more money, but not all of it, you're going to win the game. Because eventually you double $10,000 into 20, but then 20 into 40, then 40 into 80, and then 80 into 160, and then 160 into 320, right? That's the game starts to pick up quick, but you just got to keep doubling it, keep taking it into the next thing, right? So, yeah, the gentlemen are going to be, this time next year is going to be fucking outrageous because the organization, I mean, we have 380 people inside right now. It's going to be thousands of people. We're going to see the guys who have been with us from the beginning making filthy money next year. And you're going to see it. All these things that they've been learning, they're going to continue to implement. They're going to see how they work. They're going to see how these things play out in their real lives. And they say, oh my God, that worked. Oh yeah, that did make me more money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that was a good investment. It's like, yeah, that's what we're telling you.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the investment into ourselves and our community over the next year is going to be exponential, even way greater than it is now. People think that they get a lot of value now out of the Taylor's Code. Just wait until next year. You're going to be part of a community that is so growing and so big that the sky's the limit for us. So if you guys aren't involved, go check out the link in the description. If you're viewing on X, it's in my bio on X, but check it out in the
Nice.
description. Join the Taylor's Code. We're just gonna plug that so you guys could go check it out on the school network.
It's fucking work, gentlemen. Outside of that, I mean, that's a good little watch a little watch overview. I definitely would encourage you guys to start working towards that. It shouldn't be the first thing on your list if you have no money, but it's something to work towards. You definitely should get a Rolex as quickly as humanly possible when it makes sense. And yeah, just start to put yourself in the mindset of I have class, I'm a gentleman, I have those staples of success. Not and people say they go, "Oh, you don't need nice things to show off to other people. Who cares what other people think, etc." Listen, gentlemen, we all know that you care what other guys have. Don't fucking lie to yourself, okay? It does work. It does help. It is a good thing to have in your collection. If you're a fucking tech billionaire that's worth, $20 billion and you don't need those kinds of connections anymore, you want to be fucking Bill Gates and dress like a slob, just fucking disgusting, or Mark Zuckerberg, fine. If you want to be one of those guys, go for it. But I'd prefer to be a gentleman, be classy. The ladies love it. And I don't need $20 billion, but I'll have plenty enough. All right.
Yeah, but that's all I got today, guys. Make sure to subscribe to us if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure to follow if you're on X. And we go live every Wednesday at 8 a.m. But actually, next Wednesday is Christmas morning. So if we do want to pick a day now while we got the viewers viewing in so they know,
You want to
um,
do
we could do Tuesday or Thursday. I'm free for both. Well, Tuesday's Christmas Eve as well. I don't know if you guys do anything on Christmas Eve, but Thursday works if you're cool with that.
me and Bauer? Yeah, let's do Thursday because I already do. We'll do an Ultimate Market Professionals on Thursday at noon, so we can just bang one out at. You probably won't. Yeah, we could do it.
Okay.
You could do it probably at any time, right?
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah,
could do.
whatever time Thursday.
We could rip one at 11. Crank out a gentleman's code for the gentleman, and then if you want to roll into, you're more than welcome. We can roll into the Ultimate Market Professionals, all three of us, and just go crypto.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, all right. Thursday it is, gentlemen. All right, Thursday we're gonna do the gentleman's code at 11 a.m. Eastern time. All right, we'll get it scheduled. Make sure you guys turn on the notifications. Do me a favor, please like the stream, comment on the stream, subscribe if you haven't already. We got to get this out to everybody that we possibly can. Again, the larger that we grow the network, the organization, the more powerful we all become. This is not an exaggeration. This is not hyperbole. No, that's how it works. Let's get this content out to as many people as possible. Let's grow the network. Let's grow our influence. And as we grow, everybody makes more money, as you guys have already seen. Okay? Outside of that, I'm good to go.
I'm good to go. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, gentlemen. Peace. Let me get the Mr. Producer. Where are we at? Where are we at? Stream ending. Boom. All right. Pop this.
Mr. Producer.